Yes, lads and ladies, here we are live for the Tottenham versus West Ham match review, instant match reaction. And as you can tell by the constant smile on my face and the fact that I'm absolutely buzzing, and I'm sure Andre is as well. Yes, we're discussing a 3-1 Spurs win. I did tell you guys 3-1. I got the scorers completely wrong, but listen, absolutely ecstatic. And I'm sure you guys are in the chat as well. Get your thoughts about the game going on. But Andre, how are we doing, mate?
Oh, I'm feeling great. We finally broke the pattern in a good way. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Oh, and
Absolutely.
Son finally finding his shooting boots again.
Oh, I was wondering where they went, but listen, he played up to it today. He was on his A game. His finishing was clinical, and led the line, led the whole team. And listen, we're getting to things. We're getting to the maybe a little bit of a player rating kind of analysis. But let's invite some of the Spurs relayables onto the screen, onto the comments. Thank you very much for joining us as always, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Ayanami saying Heung-min Son, the pride of Asia, the king of Korea, and the reason why I exist. What was the score? Spurs 3, West Ham, Kurt Zuma, Shag's Cats. Sonaldo, he's clear of Penaldo, says Miles, big up. Loving the new intro. Yeah, listen, the intro, big up Nick, who did this for us, one of Irish Hotspurs mates. Absolutely unbelievable. Funky intro, says Emil. Big up, lad, says Mark. Mark, hope you're absolutely buzzing. Catman Jess, big up, guys. What a game that was. Exactly, Catman Jess. Absolutely buzzing. Louis, big up, boys. Big up yourself, Louis. Hope you enjoyed that one. Shushan saying at the moment in time, fullback seems to be a real worry for me. If we get a world-class wing-back, I think we can improve a lot. But you guys would sell Reguilon in this moment of time. Listen, I think some people are under that impression. But for me, I wouldn't sell Reguilon. I would keep him. But there's a lot of talks of him going back to Real Madrid, but I'm sure we can get into that at a later date. And Shushan saying, big up both of you. Big yourself up, Shushan. I hope you enjoyed that one.
Well, just to clear that one up quickly, yeah, there are clubs that are interested in Reguilon, and it's no surprise. The guy is literally a machine when it comes to that speed and pace. He never gets tired. I think this is the first game where I saw him get tired, but that's because he got dropped in the box like at least a good 5 times, and there was one where I actually thought something was wrong because he was going like crazy on the floor. I don't know if you remember that one, James, in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, his one-on-one finishing is awful. Let's be honest. Which is why Ayanami's also saying need to be more clinical, but our attacks were very good. Listen,
Yeah.
Reguilon again was one-on-one, I think 2 times and messed them both up. But listen, let's not be too harsh on Reguilon. You know, he did play well. I thought he was a very good player in that game.
Yeah, and I really do think at the end of the day, though, it's up to the player. So there could be a buyback clause. There could be teams that want him. But if he believes in the project as much as I hope Levy does and gets the fans on board for it, he won't go. It's all up to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just absolutely buzzing with that. I mean, it puts us back into 5th place with, I think we
3 points behind Arsenal, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but isn't it 3 points behind Arsenal, and they've got a game in hand, so that makes it even more key to beat them when we eventually do play them. I mean, it's absolutely huge. Yeah, we're 3 points behind with a game played more, but listen, it is honestly it's so tight now. We go a point above Man United on the same level, same amount of games. It's all back open. West Ham are 3 points behind us with a game more played. Huge as well. So listen, that North London derby couldn't be bigger. They couldn't be bigger, and wow, it's just crazy. But listen, Spurs have just tweeted who was your man of the match: Son, Kane, Romero, or who's that? Oh, and Bentancur. So that's the 4. I mean, personally, you got to give it to Sonny today. 2 goals, just unbelievable. I'd give it to Sonny. What about you?
Oh, see, that's a tough one because I do think Son. I think you do got to give it to Son because he gave he got the 2 goals, but or what was it? Yeah, 2 goals, right?
It was but also it could have been 3, right? It could have been.
It could have been 3. But you also, I think, right behind him, like literally by a margin, is Kane with getting assist on all 3.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get through a few comments because they are flooding through. Big up yourselves, guys. Make sure you do hit that like button. Jono's in here says, think this will be a very good game. Johnny, the game's been, mate. The game is a good game. Spurs, we win 3-1. Because West Ham get battered everywhere they go. Come on. Ian Army saying Reggie's positioning is immense. Agreed. COYS much needed win, says Mac. Big yourself up, Mac. Spurs Live in here saying amazing stuff. James and Andre. COYS. Big up Spurs Live. Big up Josh. The pattern has been broken, says Leo Ball. Don't care that much about top 4 spot. We must go game by game. Ian Army saying Son was the best player and Benton Kerr was second best. I've got to agree with the Ian Army, and I'd also put Kane up there. His vision is. How is he a striker? His vision is as good as Kevin De Bruyne. Quote me on it, clip me on it. I don't care. Watch the guy. His passing is immense. It is immense. Just the way he can find him, the way he found Son for that second goal. It's just crazy how good he is with his passing. Like, he gets better and better and better. Emil's saying what Conte is doing with the players that he has at his disposal is pretty impressive. Couldn't agree more, Emil. Like, he is working with a bunch of tools and a few world-class players, and we're getting results. Like, listen, of course, we're not getting consistent results, but once he does get those tools that he needs at his disposal, then I think we can really kick on. Shushan saying, but Woolwich is feeling the pressure, that's for sure. Listen, it's 3 points now. Woolwich thinking they've got top 4 work wrapped up in cotton wool. They really haven't. Bentonker's passing was great in this game. I couldn't agree more as well, Mac. Bentonker had a really good game and a really good game. If you have to do player of the week, it's Bentonker. Played well against Brighton and played well today. What a player. What a signing. Juventus is dead wood, they said. Juventus is dead wood. No way is Juventus is dead wood. Juventus had a very good player on their hands and have a very good squad, and we just picked up, what they didn't need.
Yeah, I do think the same thing. North London Derby there.
Yeah, North London W rescheduled. Still not rescheduled. I don't know what they're waiting for. Watch them schedule it for one of the last games so they can say top 4 battle on Sky Sports. You know what it's like.
Probably.
You know what it is commercial wise. Spurs Live thoughts on Antonio late subs. I personally think he should sub them in earlier. Listen, the game was wrapped up, Josh. The game was wrapped up. I don't think he needed to. I would probably agree with you if we weren't winning the game at the time. But 3-1. It was in the bag. When did we score our third goal? About the 80th minute, right? So, 88th minute. So, yeah, you could argue we should have made Emerson, Bergwijn, Lucas. They came on at the end. But listen, the game plan worked. You can't fault Conte for how it worked. West Ham needed to make the subs earlier because the likes of Antonio were absolutely knackered. So for me, it worked very well. It worked very well. Only just seen this been running around moving this week. Not had time to watch any football. Gonna have to catch up. Listen, Johnny, what a game, mate. Go and watch the highlights. Kane's peripheral vision is 360. This guy has eyes in the back of his head, Emil. It is unbelievable. He has the ball with his back to goal, and then he just goes swivel, bang, through. It goes. I swear 9 times out of 10, his passes are bob on the money.
Well, he tends to actually, as he's moving into position, you can see him looking where everyone is, and especially Son. It's like he knows what's going to happen. So when he sees where Son is, it's not about knowing where he is. It's about the fact that based on where he's seen him, he knows where he's going to go next. So then all he has to do is get the ball and one touch past that all the way 360 style or 180.
100%. Ben Zimmerman saying the Conte effect is now up and running. Huge difference in the way we are now playing. The last 20 minutes of the match were really impressive. Great game management by the entire team. Absolutely spot on, Ben. You're very right indeed. And that's why I said the subs weren't necessarily needed, because it was really working. We were outrunning them in midfield. It was working perfectly. Spurs Live saying fair enough. Love the passion from Conte after Sonny came off. Yeah, he almost kissed him, didn't he? It was brilliant. Gageta saying, Sonny, big yourself up, Gageta. Hope you're absolutely buzzing. And Ayanami saying Benton, Kulu and Kane were incredible passes. The vision we were missing is provided by our January signings. Yep. Those January signings are proving very key, aren't they, Andre?
Yeah, 100%. But you know what? We've been talking positively for a second. How about just for a minute we analyze this game? A couple things that you think could have been done better in this game. I'll start it off quickly with the subs. I think when you're winning 3-1 and you've got 5 minutes left, including that extra bit of injury time, that's when you bring on a Harvey White or a Joe Rodon and you give them a chance. I don't know why he brought on people that you would bring on to change the game when we're losing. I think that is your chance to bring on Joe Rodon, who has been sitting on the bench week in, week out. Harvey White, who's literally, he's just waiting for his chance. Same thing with Dane Scarlett again. Give him a chance while we're not losing. I think he should have done that instead. To be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Maybe that was a game for Dane Scarlett to come on, but listen, like I said, Andre, I'm not going to question the tactics today. You got it spot on against a tough West Ham team this year that we know are challenging for the top 6, are challenging for the top 4, and now maybe we have put them back in their place, back where they deserve to be. And listen, fair play to them there in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. I think that will be the difference was why they do not get into certainly the Champions League, but probably Europa League as well. I think Man United and Tottenham are going to come above West Ham, and they will make up the top 6. And we'll see what happens in terms of the places of 4th, 5th, and 6th. But West Ham are going to burn out with Europa League as well. And to be fair to them, if they win the Europa League, it's more of a successful season than us. But I don't think they will. Like we saw it today, they don't have quite have the quality. But then again, we did play really well. I would say that the only players that maybe weren't up to it for Spurs, and maybe a controversial one, I'm not too sure. Did Højbjerg do enough for you today?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with him, right? He's more of his job is to be that extra wall at the back. So it's not like he's going to really show up very often at the top and create much. That's Bentancur's job, and then Kulu's job as well.
Kulu had another good game, by the way.
Yeah.
Kulu was fantastic again. Yeah, that guy just keeps on being persistent. I feel like he hasn't really had a bad game yet.
No, I think in general he's been consistently very good. And it's a very nice change of pace to see a player do that week in, week out, come in and just do his job and do it very well. And help out in different areas that we were actually missing. We were missing someone who is willing to go deep and move forward and be that extra man at the top when we're in a sort of a 2-on-1. And then let's say Kane, usually it's Son by himself, but now Son has someone to help him out just in case.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Match saying, why is Romero playing as a striker? I know it's Conte's tactic. Bentancur running the midfield. We love to see it, says Gagetta. And JG saying, we dealt with those bubble blowers, COYS. Absolutely love it, lads. Absolutely love it from each and every one of you. And guys, there's already 15 of you in here on YouTube and a few others on other socials. Please do make sure you hit that like button, as it does really help the channel grow. It does help us go towards that 1K goal that we are going for by the end of the season. If Spurs related at 1K, Spurs are going to get top 4. That's how it is. That's how the patterns work. But listen, that's our goal. Tottenham's goal is top 4. Our goal is 1,000 subscribers, and we do appreciate each and every one of you that come in regularly. Like this man, Bobby Gay, saying, "COYS, get in there, Bobby Gay." Hope you enjoyed that one. If you watched it at the London Yard, or what is it called? The London Yard, is that right? Scotland Yard. I knew I got it wrong. Ayanami saying, "Oh, Zuma." Kurt Zuma, what a shocker.
Yeah.
The fact he deflected off our player on the second one as well. Off him on the second goal. I mean, technically it's 2 own goals, let's be honest. But obviously Son's shot was going on target. Just that kind of game, just the atmosphere seemed amazing at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium today as well. That's what I loved as well. But it just seemed absolutely rocking there. Mars Houston saying, Kurt Zuma masterclass. Shishant saying, will international break help us now? And should we start Skip when he comes back? Højbjerg and Bentancur partnership doing so good. What's your thoughts, guys? I think against Arsenal, we'll have to play 3-5-2. And in which case, you have to drop one of the front 3, which is probably going to be Kulu. But then can you drop Kulusevski at the moment? And then I'd say you bring in Skip. Or do you keep it as a 3-4-3? Maybe I'm reversing the question to you guys. Would you guys play a 3-5-2 against Arsenal? Would you guys play a 3-5-2 against the harder games? Or would you stick it exactly how it is? That's the winning squad we have right now. That's the winning starting 11 we have right now. It's an interesting question. I don't think Skip comes straight into this starting 11, Andre. What do you think?
Well, no, he's been injured for quite a while. It would be very, very, especially because of the situation itself, the context around the game, it would really not make any sense to bring him on with that much pressure right now. That wouldn't do him very well. You got to bring him in later on, maybe if we're winning or even if we're losing, but you don't give him the 90 minutes like that. You don't make him start when the other team is running and going crazy at that moment. Bring him on later, or you just slowly bring him into the game in another one where we might be winning by a good chunk, and it's just about keeping the score line rather than getting it up there and scoring.
Yeah, fair point. Exactly that. I just don't think he comes straight back into this team. I really don't. I think
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so as well. I don't think so as well.
And it's nothing against him either. He's a good player, and I'm gonna be more than happy to see Oliver Skip's name in the bench and to see him there being a backup. At that moment, though, yeah, I don't think starting him would be great, just because look at the chemistry we've built with what we have right now.
Yeah, exactly that. Zuma and Maguire, best centre back partnership pairing
Oh my
in the
God,
Prem.
that would be a mess.
Life's disastrous. Mills saying, keep the pressure on, keep the three at the top. Can't take Kulu off when he's performing so well. Yeah, you're spot on. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you can just take Kulu out and change the formation for Skip at the moment. I don't think it's warrant. But it's nice that we've got that backup centre mid that can really do a job when he comes in, unlike the other guy that we have at centre mid that can't come in and do a job, as we all know. Shishan saying I would do it so very tricky for me to it's up to Conte, but I don't think Conte is going for 3-5-2 anytime soon. But Arsenal are a good team at the moment. We should go for 3 in midfield, that's for sure. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, Shishan. I think it has to happen for the Arsenal game, and maybe Kudu comes on as an impact sub and we try that, because look at that Liverpool game. That was one of our best performances when we drew 2 with Liverpool, and that is when we played 2 up front with 3-5-2. It worked really nicely. I think that's what we're going to have to do. James Joyce saying, come on, Sonny. Come on, Son. Come on, Sonny. Let's have another one. Big yourself up, James Joyce. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like. We absolutely love welcoming on new guests. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to all of you, and big yourself up. What is that stadium? I was trying to work it out. Is that it might be an NFL stadium, right? I might be completely wrong. Leo Ball's in here. Romero was world class today. Romero is world class. I'm saying that, Leo. Romero is world class, a proper good player. Andre, who for you is your top 3? As always, we like to do the top 3 and the bottom 3. I think it's going to be hard to do a bottom 3 today, because I do think most of that team do play really well. Chris is saying West Ham get battered everywhere they go. Miles is saying
Iowa.
Oh, is that the stadium? Is it?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah, he's
Iowa.
right. He's right.
Oh, yeah,
College American football. Right, got you. Anyway, top 3, guys. Get your top 3 players in the chat. Andre, over to you first, my man. I know you probably had a little think about this one already.
Yeah, I would honestly say. Oh man, actually no, that's hard now, because I'm really debating between. You got to give it to Son. That's one. Honestly, I think Kulusevski gets one of my top 3 as well. I think even when he's not actually scoring or assisting, there's so much he does in that midfield. It's crazy.
Yep.
And I'm just really debating between Bentancur and Kane. But I think even though Kane had a lot of opportunities to sort of score and he didn't, I think I got to give it to him, because he assisted all of them. He was there on the ball at all times.
Who's your final choice?
So it's gonna be Kulusevski, Kane, and Son, the front 3 today.
And if you have to pick one?
If I had to pick one, I'd give it to Son.
Okay. I like that. Do you know what I'm gonna go for? I'm gonna have to say Son man of the match, just because of the 2 goals, and technically he would have put that 3rd one in at the start. But thanks to Kat Zuma, it went in. And I think Kane for the Vision's got to be number 2. And Kudu had a bright game as well. But Bentancur did run the midfield, so I'm going to put Bentancur number 3, Kulusevski number 4 as the little bonus mention. But listen, they were all decent today. Romero was an honourable mention. Reguilon ran his socks off. And as we know, he runs his socks off every single game. And maybe his quality isn't there sometimes, but listen, he was there today. I wish he could finish, because he'd score so many goals. He would score so many goals.
And I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, top 3, Sonny, Bentancur, and Kane. Yeah, I've got to say, Madge is saying we need a replacement for Davies. Yeah, I don't think Davies, he'd probably be down there for me today. I did see him give it away 1 or 2 times. Is Moore and Stevie finished now? You would sell them? Would you sell them for good fee? I think I would. I think I'd get rid of certainly Steven Bergwijn, because we know he has interest, and interest doesn't last in players for their whole, years of, Bergwijn is 25 years old now. It's maybe a good time to move him on if we're not going to start playing him more. It's a shame.
Yeah. And I gotta say, after I was getting all that banter from you and who was his name? That guest we had from a few podcasts ago.
Yeah.
Mora, and how I feel like eventually, not this upcoming window, but eventually we have to have an aim that our team is so good that Moura is a player we're thinking about selling. There you go.
Yeah. Sidan's in here. Big up Sidan. Says Romero's doing an absolutely brilliant job with 3 at the back. We need someone who can make those runs and break opponents' press, and he's doing that brilliantly. He's the one that pushes up. Dyer's almost the sweeper. Davies mops up a little bit, and then you've got Romero just like that absolute, cannon just going off into the midfield and beyond. It's absolutely brilliant. Bobby K is saying Zuma. Romero, Bentancur, and Kulusevski was Chris's best 3. Yeah, I think that's fair, but I think you've got to put Son in there for his 2 goals. But listen, you're entitled to your own opinion, of course, Chris. Shushan saying Son, Kane, Romero, sacrificing Højbjerg, Bentancur, so sad, but Højbjerg improving massively. Højbjerg has been very good. Listen, I was trying to pick someone that wasn't as good. I'd probably have to put Ben Davies, and maybe Doherty wasn't quite his best game. But listen, the boys were all brilliant. They stuck together today. They outbattled that, annoying team that keep thinking they're bigger than they are. Listen, I'm not going to start, slagging off West Ham on here. That's not right. But it is annoying when they think that they're going to get top 4 when they're not. And listen, they got absolutely destroyed today. And I'm sure the 120 minutes didn't help them in midweek. Maybe it would have been a different game. But listen, you got to take the rough with the smooth, and we're taking the smooth today, baby. 2 wins on the trot. Win-loss is broken. We're going for win FC now as we go marching on into our next game. What do you think, Andre?
Yeah, you also got to think. I think one of the biggest mistakes David Moyes did is take off Antonio, because he was that strength at the top, and as soon as he took him off, we didn't have to really worry too much at the front anymore. Antonio actually looked a little pissed sitting on the bench there when he saw that Tottenham were putting in the pressure again at the end. Because you saw that when I think it was against Reguilon, or it might have been against Davies, where he was getting to the ball and Antonio just shoulder to shoulder him to the ground, and it was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Once he was gone,
it got a bit feisty, especially around that point where those 2 idiots tried to tie themselves to the net again. It's just going to keep happening, isn't it? It's that trend. But listen, when that happened, the Spurs and the West Ham players just before were getting a bit squared up with each other. I think Son went down and something happened around there. He didn't really see it all. But Catman Jess is saying Son, Kane, Romero for me. Yeah, I like that. I like that 3 as well. Chris is going for saying big up Chris, big up Jess, big yourselves up in the chat. Kulusevski and Bentancur contribute positively towards mentality. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. We've got 2 winners in our team now. Bentancur and Kulusevski, 3rd-rate signings. What exactly? These guys are absolute ballers. I'd sell Bergwijn at 25 mil for him. It wasn't bad. I feel like he is nowhere near Son's level, and we need someone to sometimes fill in for him when he's resting. Yeah, we can't have these second-string players that maybe aren't up to it when they come in. But I'm not saying Bergwijn isn't. Bergwijn isn't, but I just don't feel like... I said this before I said this when he scored those 2 goals against Leicester. I said, listen, he's done fantastically, but one amazing performance doesn't let us forget the fact he'd only scored 3 Premier League goals before that in 2 years. So listen, maybe it is time for him to move on. If the right bid does come in from Ajax in the summer, I would probably move him on.
I agree with you. I even said when the Leicester game happened, literally that day, I was saying, look, once we got all that hype out, because I remember, James, you and I were ecstatic about that game. That is probably one of my favorite games of this season so far, is that Leicester game.
Oh, of course.
There was no way we were winning that. That was like a 1% chance we were going to win that. But I even said, I was like, Bergwijn, you've earned yourself an extra 6.
We all said it.
Extra 6 months to show that you deserve to be in this team, because these 2 goals were amazing. But if you don't contribute to anything else, we can't keep you in a team so that you score 2 goals a season. That's
100%. You're 100% right. Leo Bull said, just when I start to doubt Son, he comes and does well. He had to have that game today. And listen, maybe I cursed him. I took him out of my fantasy team and he bangs in 2. Obviously a bit devastated with that. But in the grand scheme of things, I really do not mind at all. Maybe I keep him out of my team so I'm not cursing him again. What do you reckon, guys?
You took him out? Oh,
yeah,
man.
I took him out of my team because he was just annoying me. Like, he was just, he was not playing well. He was not playing well. We all know that.
Oh no, I kept him in there. You gotta believe, man. You can't. He
Yeah.
lets you down a little bit, but you can't stop believing in him, man. Where's
No,
the
listen,
support?
listen. Maybe I was cursing him. That's what I'm saying. Chris is saying Sonny for the goals, but an outstanding play today. Bentancur, Romero, and Kulizeski for me. Listen, that seems to be quite a common three. Shushan saying thank you guys for communicating with us. Very good lads. Best wishes, boys. Thank you so much. No, Shushan, appreciate the kind words, mate. But this is what this show's all about: communicating with you guys. I don't agree with like if you guys were here and we weren't communicating with you, you are part of it. We're streaming to you. We want to keep you involved as much as possible. That's why we try and always do the fan phone in Fridays on Friday. And that's what we do appreciate. We appreciate you guys being here and watching us and supporting us all the way. So of course, it's always going to be like that, Shashan. Even if we get to, hundreds of viewers, we'll still communicate with the chat, won't we, Andre? That's what we're all about.
100%. Yeah, it's Spurs relatables. 100%.
Catman just saying I said off the bench, but I did say look out for Benrahma. Low, yeah, you did, and your spawn did get the goal. Very true indeed. Shushan saying we can't depend on Son and Kane every time. That's the real worry for me. Kulu is adding something, but we need a lot of goal scorers too. It's a real worry to me. What about you guys? Yeah. Listen, I think this is what we're establishing. Like when Lucas and Bergwijn come off the bench, they're not quite cutting the mustard for me. They're not quite looking like they can fill the boots for Son and Kane. Kulusevski is. But then, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But if one of them gets injured, which is inevitable at one point, then that's when you got a problem, and that's when maybe we do need this backup striker. Look, because look, I said it on the preview, didn't I? I said, West Ham looking for that backup striker. They had Haller, didn't cut the mustard in the Premier League, and then suddenly at Ajax, he's scoring more than a goal a game, and you're like, well, we need a player like that. I'm not saying get Haller. I'm saying get a player that can provide that kind of support up front for the goals, because we need someone that can score the goals off the bench.
Yeah, they can't imagine the pressure either. It's not only the pressure that you don't want to get injured so that you can play, but the fact that if you get injured, the squad lacks so much when you're not there because you don't have someone to come in and fill in for you. You have, if anything, you have players who maybe for one game will show up, and then the other ones, they end up not scoring anything, not doing anything, losing the ball. We need to bring in some backups for them to challenge them. I always said the best teams have rivalries between each position, just like Reguilon and Sessegnon started to sort of rival each other, and there was that whole thing where Reguilon really needed to step up and show that after that injury that he was willing, or was it an injury or was it COVID? I can't remember. Willing to go back and be in top form. That's what every single player needs, a push like that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are right. Honestly, you are very right. They do need that push. Chris saying James and Andre, top lads, deserve all the support. No, listen, look, we appreciate the kind words, Chris. We do appreciate your support, mate. Honestly, big up Bobby K, the legend. Andre, you should have joined us at the pub. I'm sure Andre will get over there at some point.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. Don't worry.
Big up Chris. Bobby K was COVID, Andre. Listen, I can't stop smiling. I'm so buzzing. Like we can't do what we normally do now though, and get a big win like this, and just, I mean, we can't, can we? Can we go on and get on a win streak?
Well, we'll see. I think this is the start of something new, hopefully. We just have to take it one game at a time. I think there was a earlier comment that said we need to stop thinking about top four. We need to stop thinking about that and just take it one game at a time. And it's also what I've been saying. The minute that we start thinking about top four and all that pressure, we crumble because we don't have enough players right now to be able to switch them around.
No, you're spot on. But listen, if I had to read out to you, there's 9 games left. 9 games right. Newcastle at home.
Oh, Trippier back home. Oh, man.
Newcastle at home win. Villa away. I don't know. Brighton at home. You got to win that. I mean, we only played them last game. And obviously, because that was rescheduled, that was later. Brentford away. You'd expect to win. Leicester at home is a tough one, obviously. But Leicester aren't what they were last season. Then Liverpool away. Okay, they're probably, it's Liverpool. They're going for the title. Then Burnley at home, and then Norwich away. I mean, if you look at it like that,
they're not too bad. It is actually a lot of reunions when you think about it. You have the Trippier reunion, which I'm sure that'll be, besides the actual game itself, that'll be a nice one. You got the Eriksen reunion, which 100%. That's going to be great to see as well. The Liverpool game will probably be the one where I would rather we get 3 points and maybe a couple of ties out of all of the games, and then the Liverpool game we lose. I'm okay with that. I'd rather that than inconsistency throughout the entire thing, and then maybe winning the Liverpool game but losing so many.
But then obviously like Chris just put next game is 3rd of April. Newcastle got to beat them. Obviously we've got a week international break. Do you think this international break's come at a kind of annoying time?
Well, yeah, because for some reason we are always on the short end of the stick, and someone comes back injured. So I just really hope they really just they really think about what they're doing. I think Romero should really think about the fact that Argentina has already qualified. So just take it easy. Don't go over there and start giving 150% in a game where and probably injure yourself and then screw us over. So I mean, things like that need to be taken into account from these players. It's up to them to make sure that when they're going out there, they're being careful.
Yeah, I know.
Especially
Yeah,
the ones that are already qualified.
But even like Harry Kane with England, like just please, just Southgate, do not overwork him. Do not overwork him. I pray you don't overwork him. Guys, there's still 20 of you in the chat. We will wrap things up, quite soon, but please do hit the thumbs up button. It does help the channel. I know I've already said it, but we are trying to progress this channel and move further forward, and your support does mean a lot. Shushant's asked the question and says, how much should we spend in the summer to back this manager? Really back how much money after that top 4 or targeting direct for the title with Conte? Never know. What's your thoughts, guys?
Well,
I think we should be spending 150 million. We should be spending 150 million, I think.
Well, here's my plan. I think you got to sell a couple of big boys that aren't playing. So you got your Sanchez, you got your Emersons.
Yeah.
You sell those, you make some money. Then you fill them in with good players. I'm not talking these like, oh, they might get better players. I'm talking ready to go, kind of like Bentancur, ready to go players. You get yourself a good right wing back. You get yourself a good center back. Left-footed center back, to be honest, because James, do you want to fill in that blank for me?
Listen, we can't keep having that in the starting 11. The paper over the cracks in Ben Davies. Like Ben Davies is paper over the cracks. We saw it today. He wasn't he wasn't the best player. He certainly, he wasn't terrible. But when the bigger games come, we will get found out when we have paper over the cracks.
100%. And then, so we got that one. Then you bring in, because I would think Oliver Skip plays more like Højbjerg, if I'm not mistaken here. So you bring in yourself another defensive midfielder who's creative. So another Bentancur. And that way, Højbjerg, when he needs to rest, has Skip. And when Bentancur needs to rest, you'll have someone else. Oh, and don't forget, you got to sell Harry Winks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Harry Winks has
got to happen.
Harry Winks has got to go.
It's got to happen. I always keep saying it's. I do think that. Oh, Ben Davies in the chat.
Every time I mention him, he just appears. He just appears. Listen, it's quite funny.
But what I was gonna say, I do think that it's not of a lack of effort. I do think Winks gives 100% effort. It's just sometimes you reach your peak and that's as far as you go. So, it's unfortunate to see because he's made it through the homegrown and everything. But I think it's time. And then Harvey White, it's time for him to step up.
Yeah, exactly. HMQ says Romero was absolutely class today. Honestly, HMQ, you're about the 10th person that said that. He was absolutely brilliant today. He really was. And do you know what? I don't mind him pushing up, but I don't think we can afford to do it in the bigger games where he pushes up like that. Yeah. Andre, anything else to add on this fantastic evening? Spurs haven't ruined my weekend for once.
Well, actually, I think we still haven't done bottom 3. Just on that more negative side here.
Okay.
I think I've got them.
Davies, Doherty, and
ooh, well, I got mine.
Davies, Doherty, Højbjerg.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go for one of the subs.
But it's tough. I'm not saying they were bad. I'm just trying to. If you have to go on you're going to the subs. No, you can't do the subs. Otherwise, I'd go Bergwijn.
Because there's one guy.
Okay, I'll do it as well. Bergwijn, Lucas, and Emerson.
No, I will say Emerson, Doherty, and Davies. I say Emerson because did you see that really annoying header that he did when Kane literally yelled at him, "Don't touch it"?
Yeah.
Now imagine if we needed that goal. Like imagine if we actually needed that goal. That would have been a goal, and then Emerson touched it.
Yes, and then Kane would have tapped that in right at the end.
Yeah. So
did he say leave it?
Yeah, he did. That's why he was yelling at him after.
Imagine that cost us. Imagine that was to win the game. Anyway, it wasn't. We are back, baby. Win loss. FC is out the window. Absolutely ecstatic. Liverpool saying really thought Doherty was on game today. Listen, I'm not saying he was bad. It's hard. Andre always gives me that hard question at the end, especially if we play well. Davies, Doherty, Dyer purely for the slip in the first half, nearly cost a goal. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I do think, again, you got, as much as you have positives, you have to, just like in the negative games, I like to think about some positives that can be taken into the next game. When you do your positive, when you have a good game, you have to think about the things that could be worked on, because there are more games to come that will be harder. West Ham, their midfield wasn't as strong as we had predicted. As you saw, Fornals and Yarmolenko didn't come on until later. And even though there were some good links in there, it wasn't really up to par. We definitely controlled that midfield. Bentancur and Højbjerg tend to pass it to the wings, to the wing backs to get it up. And when that's being covered, they just stay in the middle, and Kane comes in and Romero pushes up for more midfield depth. So we kind of had that in the bag. But there are a few issues that I did see. Obviously, as always, the fact that we could have scored more.
Listen, though, 3 goals. I'm taking 3 goals. I'm sorry. I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. But 3 goals, I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with that.
Well, yeah. But again, it's like I said, I'm happy with it too. But you always have to think about the fact that in a harder game, we're not going to get all the chances we did. And those chances where we did have clear positions to score, they weren't taken. Those are things to think about. And like I said, the Emerson giving that little touch when he was told to leave it, the lack of communication or lack of listening on his end, that could have cost us if we really needed that goal, because that would have been a goal. Dyer and Davies sometimes leaving the ball to go, and Lloris having to dive in to save that. Those were another. And again, for some reason, we keep conceding off of corners and free kicks. That aerial threat, like we had said last podcast, it was that is what really cost us this game. But luckily, we had Son had his shooting boots in, and we were able to, win. But it was a very tight game, and I remember there was a corner where Son didn't touch the key. He just let it go, thinking it was going to be a goal kick, and it became a corner. And I was so nervous, and they almost scored off of that.
Yeah, they did. I remember that Son let it go out, didn't he? Yeah, you're spot on. You're spot on indeed. Chris saying hard to judge a poor 3 because this good team performance. This is what I'm saying. That was a harsh question from Andre. Like I said, it is hard to judge, but maybe like you said, Chris, Davies, Doherty, Dyer purely for the first slip. I think that is a fair reflection. But certainly for me, the top 4, like I said, Son, Kane, Kulusevski, and Bentancur, the two new boys, and the 2 classics.
Yeah. The beauty of it is if when you want to have such a good game that your poor 3 aren't really poor. They're just, maybe they weren't at their best, but weren't necessarily terrible. So I'm happy that it was very hard to pick a bottom 3 today.
Yeah, and we could be at a point where we were like Middlesbrough, where we could say 9 out of the 11 were then bottom. That was an awful day. That was an awful evening. I mean, I just went off on one on that night. It's amazing how well this team plays when Winks is not in it. Listen, Winks, just get him gone. Please get him gone. Please get him gone.
I hope he goes to a team that can really exploit his strengths, because he does have some good things in him. Is just not for this system.
Absolutely spot on. Listen, guys, that is all we've got time for. As always, thank you so much for all your comments, Spurs Relatables. You are legends. Please do hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. I've seen a few new faces today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, whether that's sipping on a few beers or having a Sunday roast, whatever you guys do to relax. Enjoy that win, because these wins don't come around too often, as we all know. And enjoy your Sunday, guys. Thanks for the support. You guys have been legends. Andre, thanks for joining me as always. And remember, guys, West Ham get battered everywhere they go. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Everywhere they go.